international handover looking like to you?
Absolutely. You can see that Nifty implied already indicating a very positive start for the Indian market. So maybe one more record high for us as well, because S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq both closed at record high levels. So very interesting, in terms of the move that came in from the US market was mainly because of Nvidia, because of the numbers that added $277 billion in terms of value. That is the most in its market history as well. Nvidia is a stock that has been doing well. There's a lot of interest that comes in for Nvidia. It's an AI company, AI focused company. Numbers for the December quarter were very, very strong. Improved guidance also, bumpers earnings, and obviously in terms of guidance improvement means the trajectory going forward is also quite positive. So yes, US markets really closed on a very positive note. As of now, when you're looking at the futures, that after the close saw a bit of a decline coming in terms of the US futures, but what a run up that we've already seen right in the US markets. So yes, given the Nvidia push, US markets surely closed on a high note as well. Whether you look at the Nasdaq, S&P 500 or Dow Jones, all of them have actually managed to close in the green. Dow Jones managed to gain more than 450 points, up 1.18%. S&P 500 closed more than 2% up, and Nasdaq too closed more than 3%, around 3% uptick that we saw in the Nasdaq as well. So yes, interesting move that came in from the US markets. While let's look at what the European markets did as well. They do close before the US markets, but nonetheless, European markets also saw very strong moves, very strong closing yesterday that came in. European benchmark, the Stock 600 actually closed at a high level as well. So when you look at it, DAX, FTSE, CSE, all of them have managed to close with very strong gains. FTSE was the only one which gained 0.3% in trade, while other ones were obviously gaining more than 1% as well. Data points showing in terms of economic recovery, that's a positive sign coming there as well. So all in all, it was overall a good closing that and a handover that we're getting from the US markets as well. So yes, that's something interesting to watch out for today in trade, because surely a positive start is at least what is indicated today as of now for the Indian markets, and Nifty implied indicating more than a 1% uptick in terms of the start as well.
Absolutely, and when you look at oil prices also, there's a very interesting move coming in. So when you look at crude oil futures, of course, they're not doing all that much, just rising a little bit, and this is amid signs of a tightening global market. And the market is also taking note of the geopolitical outlook in the Middle East that remains uncertain as of now. Now, when you look at the WTI contract, that saw an uptick of about 0.9% thereabout and settled around that $78 a barrel mark. When you look at Brent as well, that added about 0.7%, settled around that $83 a barrel mark. And in the US, commercial crude stockpiles rose by 3.5 million barrels last week, while total inventory, including finished products, was largely flat, and this is according to the EIA, or Energy Information Administration. And the US stockpiles have increased in recent weeks as the refinery utilization rate has dropped. Now, another thing that the market is of course taking note of, like I mentioned, is the geopolitical outlook in the Middle East that remains uncertain as the US works towards a ceasefire in Gaza while tensions escalate on the Israel-Lebanon border as well as in the Red Sea. So that's largely the handover coming in when you look at oil prices. But let's stay with oil and gas then. And the European subcontinent is looking at some relief after recent reports suggest easing supply issues by next winter. A warm second part of the heating season and forecast of relatively high temperatures in the coming months further favor the European economy. Now, increased diversification of supply has aided this, which made sure that the continent is not depending on Russian gas alone. As a result, bears could be targeting the lows near the €20 price level. Remember, demand for natural gas in Europe is falling near a decadal low, while a peak in LNG prices is also on the horizon. So that's another important factor to look out for, Vinny. But which are the other events that you're looking at?
Absolutely.